Welcome back to Building Character, where we figure out how to play as your favorite fictional characters in Dungeons & Dragons. Join the Patreon for this character sheet and a whole bunch more, and like and subscribe for more brotherly love next time you play. Maybe. Today we're building Vergil from Devil May Cry, the edgier twin brother of Dante, who's already pretty edgy. What's more edgy than a goth boy with platinum white hair and a trench coat? How about a poetry goth?
I'm scared, Dad.
Do you trust me, son?
Yes.
Come on, son. Rule number 1, never trust anybody.
Let's start off with our goals for this build. First, we need the Yamato, a fancy magical sword that is much cooler than Rebellion, everyone agrees. Next, we need to turn into a big monster demon man with a devil trigger, a couple of devil triggers really. Every game they're like, oh, Dante and Vergil actually can go Super Saiyan 5 now. It's fine, it's fun. Finally, we'll get some ghost swords that are a little bit better at carving through demons than the standard steel stuff. For stats, we'll be using the standard point array from the player's handbook. Roll for stats if you want, just keep your multi-classing minimums in mind. Charisma will be number 1. If you want to know the way to Tulok's heart, feed him poetry. Rosie, I love this bullet. Dexterity next. Speed is one of the many ways you edge out Dante, the other one just being edge. Constitution after that. The violence is pretty heightened in Devil May Cry, so you need to get hit by a lot of swords and bullets. Follow that up with intelligence. You gotta know all the devil sword lore, even if you don't know why the kid attacking you looks so much like that Italian girl you spent the night with 20 years ago. Strength is a bit low. I know everyone can yeet a car in Devil May Cry, but if everyone can yeet a car, yeeting a car isn't impressive, is it? We'll dump wisdom though. You're not the best at insight checks, and failing a perception check to see your mom in the fire is your villain origin story. It's why you are going to become the Joker. We made Dante a fallen Aasimar because demons can be fallen angels, and it worked better to make a devil trigger than a tiefling. So if Dante is a fallen Aasimar, Vergil is too, which means he gets +2 charisma and +1 strength, 60 feet of dark vision to read poetry in the dark, the light cantrip to see in the dark with your eyes that can already see in the dark, celestial resistance to resist radiant and necrotic damage, and healing hands to heal someone an amount equal to your total level. Use it on yourself to seal up some bullet holes. For some anime physicality, grab the athlete background for athletics and acrobatics proficiency, helping you do cool backflips and cool jump combos. We're gonna kick things off as a warlock. That's obviously gonna be the main class. It's so freaking edgy. Letting you grab 2 skills from the warlock list, like Arcana and Intimidation, to know the demon lore, and the best way to utilize it to look like a badass. We're gonna go with Hexblade, since you sure do love your magical sword, and that will make you a Hex Warrior, letting you pick one weapon to use your Charisma modifier with instead of your Strength or Dexterity, which will help our more magical stuff later without sacrificing skill with the Yamato. To truly excel at single combat, Hexblade's Curse lets you pick a family member to absolutely destroy, critically hitting them with a 19 or 20, adding your proficiency bonus to your damage with your attacks, and healing an amount equal to your Charisma modifier plus your Warlock level when you prove yourself to be the superior son of Sparta by murdering the other son of Sparta. You get 2 cantrips like Sword Burst to surround yourself with spectral swords, forcing a dexterity saving throw on creatures within 5 feet of you, and dealing a d6 of force damage to those that fail. Eldritch Blast lets you shoot a sword forward, dealing a d10 of force damage with a ranged spell attack. For first level spells, Hex goes so well with Hexblade's Curse, it's like peanuts in peanut butter, adding a d6 of necrotic damage to your attacks against a creature and giving them disadvantage on ability checks of a certain type, which should make your backflips cooler than Dante's. As a Hexblade, you can also learn Shield for free, adding 5 to your AC as a reaction to block. That's it, just blocking, no weird devil powers, just blocking. Second level Warlocks get Invocation, special devil powers to make you a little bit better than everyone else. Agonizing Blast lets you add your Charisma modifier to the damage of your Eldritch Blast attacks for sharper swords made of force. Armor of Shadows lets you cast major armor on yourself at will, making your AC 13 plus your dexterity modifier when you're not wearing armor, so you can just kick ass in a blue coat. For this level spell, Wrathful Smite lets you add a d6 of psychic damage to your next weapon attack and force a wisdom saving throw on the creature you hit, frightening them if they fail. The frightening effect is fun, but the extra damage is the real buff, although Hex would be a much better damage buff because it lasts a lot longer. Of course, if you really like dealing psychic damage with your sword, hit level 3 of Warlock and learn the spell Shadow Blade, summoning a sword that deals 2d8 psychic damage. It's light, it's finesse, has 20 feet of thrown range, and advantage on attack rolls in dim or dark light. Hopefully that Mirage will give you the edge. You also get a Pact Boon, and if you're a Hexblade, Pact of the Blade is the pretty obvious choice. But the graphic says Pact of the Chain, so I guess that lets you cast Find Familiar, summoning a spectral animal like a crow you can see through its senses, and cast touch range spells through that crow. And since you're a Warlock, that crow can attack. Crows aren't good at attacking. You also get Necrotic Shroud as a fallen Aasimar, letting you add your total level in necrotic damage to 1 attack per round and force a wisdom saving throw on creatures, frightening them if they fail. Frustration, getting bigger, bang, bang. Pull that Super Saiyan. Wait, what is it? No. Applesauce, Chrysler car, football cream. Why am I forgetting what this is called? But if you want to pull the comment section's devil trigger, why don't you make a bard? Y'all, this boy recharges his magic by reading poetry. So unless you want his warlock patron to be William Blake, I'm gonna go bard. That'll give you more spells and cantrips, like mending to put 2 pieces of something back together, in case your sword gets split into 2 pieces. True Strike lets you give yourself advantage on an attack roll next round, and remind your audience that they can start their own bard-free channel. They really hate bards so much. What I do is incredibly easy. You're smarter and prettier than me, and should absolutely become the character building D&D YouTube. You get to be your own boss at your own schedule. It'll be very sad when you crush my channel into oblivion with your superior intellect and humor, but I understand it's something you must do. Otherwise, there's gonna be politics, custom lineage, and bards running rampant through all the D&D games. What a tragedy. For your first level spells, Thunderwave lets you create a big shockwave, forcing a Constitution saving throw on creatures in a 15-foot cube in front of you, dealing 2d8 thunder damage and pushing them back 10 feet if they fail, half damage and no pushing if they succeed. Featherfall lets up to 5 falling creatures take no falling damage as a reaction, letting you cowabunga off of rooftops without worry. Longstrider adds 10 feet to a creature's movement speed. I recommend using it on yourself to run faster. Bane will force up to 3 creatures to make a charisma saving throw. If they fail, they take a d4 penalty to their attack rolls and saving throws, making sure you're just better at fighting than they are. Bards also get another skill for multiclassing, like performance, to read poetry because you do that a lot. It's honestly inspiring how much you love poetry. That's why you get Bardic Inspiration. D6s you can give to an ally for their attack rolls, ability checks, or saving throws, with a number of these equal to your charisma modifier per long rest. Though since you work alone, it would probably be nice if we had another way to spend them. Second level bards get Jack of all trades, letting you add half your proficiency bonus to any skill you're not proficient with, helping you be good at everything like the anime boy you are. You also get Song of Rest, letting you do some free verse poetry on a short rest to give your allies an extra d6 of healing, or just yourself. Poetry can be a nice private thing. For this level spell, Identify tells you what a magical item does, how many charges it has left, if it has charges. Sometimes you get some magical items and you want to know what they do. Otherwise, you might split your soul in half. Awkward. Third level bards get Expertise, doubling your proficiency bonus with 2 skills. Athletics and Acrobatics are going to be my picks. By the end of this, that'll give you plus 12 to your Athletics, which is 1 more than you would get if you were a 20th level fighter with maxed out strength. Bard is a perfect class, and if you dislike it, you're wrong. Dang, that's gotta hurt. I guess that's why you're angry all the time. You can also choose a college, and you didn't go to college, you went to murder, so College of Swords is the way to go. It lets you pick a fighting style, and honestly, you kind of have to choose the fighting style you prefer. If you want to use the Mirage Edge and the Yamato at the same time, 2-weapon fighting lets you add your ability modifier to the damage of an offhand weapon attack. If you want to just use the Yamato, use Dueling to add 2 to the damage of an attack when you're wielding a weapon one-handed. I am a Mirage Edge fan, but I get it if you'd rather concentrate on something else. You also get Blade Flourishes, letting you spend your Bardic Inspiration die on yourself like the loner you are, boosting your movement speed by 10 feet for the round, and adding your Inspiration die to the damage of your attack. If you make a defensive flourish, you also get to add the Inspiration die to your AC. If you make a slashing flourish, you can hit another target within 5 feet of the person you attacked, dealing the Inspiration die in damage, and a mobile flourish will let you move a creature 5 feet, then end your turn somewhere within 5 feet of them. I kinda spam the dash attack, I get it. You also get second level spells. Mirror Image will make a little doppelganger of you. Actually, it makes 3. When someone tries to attack you, roll a d20. On a 6 or higher, they hit one of 3 duplicates, 8 or higher when you have 2, and 11 or higher when you only have 1. They last for a minute and don't require your concentration, so having some backups is always kind of a nice idea. 4th level bards get an ability score improvement. It's about time. Round up your charisma and constitution. You don't get anything from having odd numbers, so enjoy the extra HP and better concentration, while the charisma will boost your Yamato swings and other magical abilities. For this level spell, Shatter bumps that Beowulf blast up, forcing a constitution saving throw on creatures in a 10-foot radius, dealing 3d8 thunder damage to those that fail, half as much to those that succeed. 5th level bards get a Font of Inspiration, letting you recover your inspiration die on short rests for more flourishes, and bumping the die up to a d8 for better flourishes. You also can learn 3rd level spells like Slow, forcing a wisdom saving throw on up to 6 creatures. If they fail, they have a -2 penalty to their AC, halved movement speed, disadvantage on dexterity saving throws, and they can only take an action or a bonus action. Also, if they try to cast a spell, they have to roll a d20. On an 11 or higher, that spell comes out next round. It all lasts for a minute depending on your concentration. You can really style on someone who's moving at half speed. 6th level sword bards get an extra attack, finally, letting you make 2 attacks with your action instead of 1. I know it seems like it took us a while to get here. Total level 9 is gonna take a while, but let's be real, Devil May Cry is like level 40 style combat. Mix the bard levels in earlier if you like. There isn't really a huge penalty to it. I just did it this way since more people would stick around to watch Warlock, Vergil, and Bard, even if Bard is more accurate. Oh, but don't worry, we're totally gonna go back to Warlock later, any second now, I'm sure. For this level spell, spell, Fear forces a wisdom saving throw on creatures in a 60-foot cone, frightening them if they fail, and forcing them to use their action to dash away until they can't see you. Probably won't work on Dante, but it should work on the normie type enemies. 7th level bards get 4th level spells. Dimension Door lets you teleport 500 feet away as an action, and even bring someone with you. Maybe bring Bagheera once we get Bagheera, but that's still a bit away. 8th level bards get another ability score improvement. Cap off your charisma to make the Yamato the ultimate blade, even though you can't use it for Shadow Blade, which weird? I've always thought Shadow Blade should use your casting modifier. It's a spell. For this level spell, Freedom of Movement stops anything from slowing you down. Difficult terrain, restraining, paralyzation, and you can bust out of non-magical shackles with 5 feet of movement. Nothing's gonna slow you down on your path to vengeance. 9th level bards can learn 5th level spells. Skill Empowerment gives a creature expertise in a skill they're already proficient with for an hour, depending on your concentration. That means you could have expertise in 3 of your 5 abilities. And at the 10th level bard, you get expertise in 2 more skills, like Arcana and Intimidation, so you can cast Skill Empowerment only when you really want to win the dramatic Dickinson reading competition, or just enjoy expertise in 4 very regularly useful skills and save your 5th level slot for one of your magical secrets. Those are spells you can steal from any list in the game at this point. Steel Wind Strike lets you make a melee spell attack against up to 5 creatures, dealing 6d10 force damage to all those that hit, and landing somewhere within 5 feet of them. Nothing personnel, Dante. Blink lets you move in and out of the material plane at the end of your turn. Rolling a d20 on an 11 or higher, you just vanish until the start of your next turn, somewhere within 10 feet of where you left. It's basically an auto teleport that makes you invincible half the time, and doesn't require your concentration. Pairing it with Mirror Image is pretty ridiculous. Your Bardic Inspiration die bumps up to a d10 as well for some truly fantastic flourishes. 11th level bards can learn 6th level spells. Find the Path shows you the most direct route to your next objective. It's not the safest route, and it's not really the most exciting of Vergil's powers, but it is nice to know where to go. 12th level bards get another ability score improvement. Start working on your dexterity for better AC and better Mirage edge attacks if that's your vibe. It's the coolest vibe, so I recommend it. 13th level bards get 7th level spells. Regenerate automatically restores 4d8 plus 15 HP, then 1 HP every round for an hour. It even regrows limbs if you feel bad now that you know you accidentally stole your son's arm. You don't? Oh, that's kind of mean. 14th level sword bards get Master's Flourish, letting you use a d6 for a blade flourish every round instead of using your inspiration die. That pretty much means an extra d6 of AC every round, or free maneuverability to stop your fights from being just 2 people hitting each other until one person passes out. Hate D&D fights like that. You also get 2 more magical secrets. Spiritual Weapon creates a floating sword that can make attacks for you as a bonus action, dealing 1d8 plus your charisma modifier with each attack. No concentration here either. Your list is weirdly good at keeping spells up, but that checks out. Vergil's great at multitasking. Summon Shadow Spawn will summon some sort of monstrosity to help you out. I think this is the best thing for your cool panther monster. Check out the stat block in Tasha's. It's faster for you to read it than it is for me to read it to you. 15th level bards can learn 8th level spells. Dominate Monster lets you take control of a monster that fails a wisdom saving throw, letting you get a big old slobber knocker demon under your control to drop in and win fights for you. I really liked playing V. It's really easy to just press the read poetry button while your monsters do all your work for you. It's like if when you played Pokemon, you only had to control the trainer. Your Bardic Inspiration die bumps up to a d12 for the most fantastic flourishes 5 times a day. 16th level bards get another ability score improvement. Get that dexterity as high as possible. Unfortunately, we won't be able to cap it. That's because our capstone is the 17th level of bard for a 9th level spell slot and a 9th level spell like True Polymorph, letting you turn yourself into any creature of challenge rating 20 or lower. That means you can be a big old demon monster, do a whole boss fight that way, then do another regular fight as Vergil after that demon's HP goes down to 0. You could also turn another creature into another creature of challenge rating equal to or lower than their current challenge rating, but they can make a wisdom saving throw to resist. Or you could turn a table into a monster of challenge rating 9 or lower, but Vergil doesn't do that. Just turn into a big scary demon and make yourself a living multi-stage boss fight. Now that we've hit level 20, let's figure out how viable this build is. First, you're incredibly consistent, with Master's Flourish giving you extra damage and defense every round if you want it. You've also got expertise to solve things outside of combats, with athletics checks better than the characters who actually focused on strength, intimidation to scare everyone away, and Arcana to know all that good lore. Finally, you get things done without really having to do anything, summoning help to do your work for you, or turning into a giant demon that fights stuff without losing your own real HP. For weaknesses, we didn't get to cap off our dexterity because we multi-classed, so your offhand weapon attack isn't going to be as good with the dual wielding strategy. You also have too many concentration spells. You definitely can do a lot without your concentration, but there's still Shadow Blade, Hex, Bane, Slow, Fear, and Skill Empowerment to pick and choose from, with only one up at a time. Finally, your low wisdom could make you susceptible to some nasty saving throws. Unless you transform into a demon that's better at wisdom saving throws, then carve through your brother to put an end to your sibling rivalry. Just watch out for things that slip your notice. You could have more enemies Nero than you realize. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, subscribe for more. We make 2 videos every every week. Join the Patreon for this character sheet and a whole bunch more, and sub to Tulok and Mango for more Tulok fun.